Good morning. This video is part of lectures, part of lectures related to the topics discussed in the column Kerala Education. The column is in English, and the videos giving introduction to the column. Although it's an English column, the videos have been given. Videos have been provided in both English and Malayalam. Just to give you a brief idea on what are all discussed in that topic, because education is a social thing. It's a kind of all-pervading thing that directly interferes in the life of each and everyone in the society and each and everything in the society, because it's not just individuals. Education is something that molds a society. So and hence you can expect that the topics are multidimensional, the topics are diverse, although related, and the issues discussed in the column are quite thick and broad and quite large. The number and its size both are large. So today in this video we are going to analyze a very significant issue related to the need to create a society that is aware of its fundamental rights. And this fundamental rights is much bigger than what you call the right to education, right to freedom, the right against exploitation. All these things can be called a peripheral thing. The most important thing is the elementary rights. Just in the economic terms, what you call the micro and macro term. Right to education, right to freedom, right to legal remedy. All these are very important because all these are kind of pillars. All these stay on top. It's the upper layer, below which there are very delicate minute things which the layman, the common man has to constantly encounter. And such basic things are the elementary rights, the basic rights. And these people who are aware of these basic rights are the indicators of a progressive egalitarian society, because only a citizen aware of her elementary rights, her basic rights, can withstand exploitation there is no space for exploitation in such a society and against such a person. So what makes this topic relevant today is the Madhu incident in Kerala, the death of a tribal youth, a brutal manslaughter, a brutal murder, a mob violence, a kind of something beyond a description, such inhuman. But the significant thing is that the person who died belonged to the lowest strata of society, and this society includes caste, religion, education, and finance. You see, economic. In all these aspects, the incident and the victim stand on the lowest. He stands on the fence. Still, there was space for fight against the people, the accused who the accused with the reach, clout, money. Still, there was space to fight. There was fight, and there is a victory of a legal system. There is a victory of humanity. There is a victory of rights, because it's about rights, and these fundamental rights has to be taught, and that is where the issue of teaching the fundamental rights in the elementary level comes up. It crops up. How was such a guy, such a system, such a section of people who have no one to ask, who doesn't know how to ask, who can't even communicate properly, who doesn't have access to normal life or urban life. Literally primitive section of society, but still they could knock the doors of justice. They could access it and they could taste it. And this indicates that people who are aware of fundamental rights, it's they who made them fight for this, fight for their right for justice. So that indicates that it's just a matter of a single person knowing the right, telling that don't get let down, don't feel that you are let down. There is space to access law. It's money, influence. It's absolutely irrelevant, and that is where a person who knows the right, who knows how to access the rights, who know how to access the social benefits, becomes a strength of a democratic society. How come this happened? How come this difference between democracy, primitive society, progressive society, equality? How come all these happen? These happens to the extent. All these happens on the basis of extent of freedom enjoyed by citizens. And this freedom includes the right to dissent, the right to give outlet to emotions, the right to access the basic rights, the right to access the right. And these rights include law, policing, and hospitals, medical, education, health, and law. How can you access it? And that is where a need to give awareness at the elementary level comes up. Because even the education, even the educated, the so-called educated elite of the society doesn't know how to access these things. Why should I complain these things? Is there any breach of law, breach of freedom, breach of personal liberty happening when a 15-year-old is being denied to access a seat in a bus, calling that, and when the conductor tells her that you pay CT, and the seat is for people who pay a full charge. Is there a breach of individual right happening? Is there a breach of freedom, dignity happening? If a person feels, if a 15-year-old feels that her right has been breached, her integrity has been molested, she can tell her parents. That's it. CT is not a concession ticket for a student, is not something that you access under the benevolence of a bus operator. It is something given to the student as a right. It's not a privilege, it's a right, and every right, every constitutional right has to be accessed, and if it is denied, it has to be questioned. So when a parent comes and questions it, you realize that there is education, there is an educated parent, there is an educated society which is aware of their rights, and this is where the rights comes up. If you talk about freebies in politics, idli, food for 5 rupees, meals for 10 rupees, do you think it's a breach of election code? Do you think it is a extravagant exploitation of public money? And then you feel that you want to complain? Yes, if you feel so, you are educated and you are aware of the rights you have. You realize that it is a citizen who holds sway over everything. And that is where these kind of rights being taught at the elementary level becomes significant, relevant, and this significance is escalating because the educational standard of Kerala is it's going backward, and people are reluctant to discuss things. People are reluctant to take up issues. They want to settle every issue except religion and politics. So that because they feel that the endurance of such political rights, such cause, such crusade for rights, fundamental rights, is tiresome. No ordinary man can meet it. It's only the privileged can access it. Only a politician, only a celebrity can access it. And then they're settling it out. They somehow, they laying it to rest. That means you are not willing to access your rights. It's not about time. It's only about privilege, as they say. You are supposed to take up the issues where your rights have been denied. Freebies, it's a denial of your rights, because what is being given to you at a subsidized rate is being made in your money, in taxpayers' money. It is taxpayers' money that has been used by all these elected representatives, and they call it, they tag it as they are donating something. What is happening there? It's utter breach of civil rights. It's a mockery of society. It's a mockery of personal freedom, liberty, and democracy, and constitution, of course. Freebies are not in Kerala. No politician has ever given any freebies, and if he tried to give any freebies, it has been made fun of by a Malayali till a decade back. If someone tells that if I win this election, you will get television sets, you will get fridge, and if a person call it in public, kind of make the statement in public, the very next second, he will be sacked from whatever position he holds, because people are aware that this is a blunt violation of electoral, election code. What is an election code? An election code is something that has been made sure that people are privileged. It is the voter who is privileged. He chooses, he decides, he makes, he creates. So if the creator is being offered something for free, then where is democracy? And that is where people who are aware of their rights, they make a progressive society. And to make such a society come, to make sure that such a society such people are inhabiting in this society, you have to make people aware of their fundamental element. It's not fundamental, it's elementary rights. If something happens, can I call the police officer? If that police officer asks me a bribe, where to go? If someone asks me to step down from a bank, or not allowing me to sit in a government office, what should I do? Is there a breach of my right? Can I file a complaint? And where to file that complaint? These must be taught. And these rights have significance way beyond your thoughts, way beyond you can comprehend. Because a society that is aware of their rights can never be deceived. No officer can ask bribe. No public servant can ask you to wait without any due reason. And when that happens, it increases the efficiency of public system. It's the public offices, from police to government officers to everything, because you cannot make a mockery of the rights of public. You cannot deny their rights. From meters in the auto, from the electric meters in the auto rickshaws, from prepaid auto centers in railway stations, from a KSCB officer attending his phone, a police officer asking the person who came there to file a complaint to sit. All these comes under the rights. If someone doesn't allow you to sit in a police station, you can file a complaint. Where to file? How to file? Can I file it if I don't have the access? Do I need money? Do I need political clout to access a police station, or complain to file a complaint against a police officer, to complain against to complain the misdeeds of an elected representative? Do you need this? No, you don't need it. If you realize that whatever you lack, you are being empowered by law, and this law can be accessed by each and everyone in the society. And if you are denied access to that right, you are being offended, and this offense done to you has to be punished. And that is where liberty, right, freedom comes up. So a progressive society is a society that is aware of their rights. Because if you're aware of your rights, you cannot be exploited. If you are not exploited, there comes efficiency. And if there is efficiency, there comes prosperity will naturally come up. It has been discussed in a column related to campus politics. It has been discussed. The link to that column is attached in this video, and that video link is attached beside this video. It's about if an 18-year-old is asked to leave the class, and if she is not willing to leave the class, still she is forced to leave the class, she has been denied her constitutional right to education. She can file a complaint. Where? How? This has to be taught at the elementary level, at least in the 8th to 10th level. If that happens, I think even this campus politics will evaporate, because the moment a person who wants to take a class has been denied her right to attend that class, it becomes a different scenario, because it's a breach of fundamental right, and she has been asked to leave the class by another 18-year-old. And if you are an 18-year-old, you are not immune to the punishments of law. So what happens there? It's very evident. And these things, you feel insignificant, you feel minute, you feel it micro. These has ramifications, significant, stretching beyond generations, because you know that you have been protected by law. What you are now doing is being legally permitted to you. You can stop it at your wish, at your own wish. But if someone forces you to leave it, do it, it's the breach of personal freedom, and you can approach the highest law authority. What is highest law authority? Which authority I must approach first? And these things are what that must be taught. What should I do? Just like you teach the elementary things like wash your hands, waste. These things are just like how you teach these things at the 2nd, 3rd standard levels. You have to teach these things at 8th, 9th, 10th standard level, 13, 14, 15 years. Because an empowered set of people enter at the college level, undergraduate level. And these empowered set of people will make sure that local politicians have no role in the affairs of a college, a university. And if that happens, if the educational institutions are free of politics, the very next moment almost everything will be free of politics. Because politics is a personal definition. It's a personal choice. It's a personal feeling. And it's up to the individual. He or she is not supposed to leave the class for a reason that has been manufactured by a local political leader. It is the same thing with everything. If a councillor doesn't take your form, you can approach the very next authority. Which authority? And that is where this awareness has to be given. Because if an hour of local, say, a municipality meeting has been got stuck without anything, without kind of fights and all these things. An hour of local municipality activities have been blocked or rather stopped. You realize that 1 hour, and during these 1 hour, the electric fans were running, the lights were running, and these councillors were given wages, payment, to make sure that the concerned issues related to people are discussed. But for these 1 hour, it has not been done. So who is a loser? Whose money has been lost? And if a person knows that, if he files a complaint, you see, it's a democracy, it's education, it's progress. So that is where fundamental rights, the awareness of fundamental rights, the awareness of elementary rights, the space to access elementary rights, all these comes from an educated society that is aware, concerned about their lives, their privileges. So elementary level, elementary education has to include elementary rights. How to, when to, from where to access elementary rights. What are the elementary rights? What are the ways it will be breached, and what happens if it is breached? Whom he or she can approach if it is breached. Or if these things are taught at the elementary level before a person becomes 15 or 16, it makes a big difference in the way he look at things. What all the things that he ignored a few days back. He feels that he has the right to do these things. Who is someone else to force him to not to do that, or force him to do that? And if an 18-year-old asks this, it creates a revolution, because exploitation stops there. Because rights is a power, it's empowerment, and this power has to be acquired at the elementary level. Let's the tragic death of Madhu and his historic taste of justice brings a new change. Thank you.